Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the DBL podcast. I am your host, Rock Solid. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about and discussing family legacy. I truly want to say thank you to everybody who interacts with me on these episodes and on the topics. You're going to the website and having conversations with me and asking questions. I want to say thank you. But before we get into this week's discussion, I wanted to give a couple of reviews on last week's episode called Family Connections. And, we all know that family can be a very touchy subject for a lot of people. And based off the responses that I got, you know, um, I touched a few nerves and I want to talk about a couple of them, okay? One of them was, what if you have lack of family? Unless you were born in a lab or your entire family has passed away, there is somebody in this world who you need to connect with. Sometimes, it's a day late and a dollar short, and we don't know that these people exist, but they're long lost aunts and cousins and friends that know your family and people that your family was close to. So look for those connections. And if you don't have family, I'm sorry to hear that. Um, the people in your life that you have called family, people in the church, people in the community, lifelong friends, make those relationships even stronger because you're now realizing how much family actually means. And you have to start recreating your own. Maybe one day you want to have a family of your own, children or adopt a kid or something like that. But either way it go, you want to still continue, however that means, building that family connection, okay? Another response says that, what are you thinking about? Your comments make it seem like this is the 1970s or 80s. This isn't back in the day. You're absolutely correct. You know, this is not back in the day because back in the day, they didn't know any better, you know, but we do. We know what it's like not to have. We know what it's like to need. We know what it's like to want. They had no clue because all they had was family. They didn't have to go searching for it. They didn't have to rebuild because whenever something happened, it came back together. You know what I'm saying? We have to stop allowing, again, our hurt hearts, I'm sorry, we have to stop allowing our angry mouths to speak for our hurt hearts, okay? We have to look at our family because you got to realize people in this world that are not blood related to, we give them way more of a pass. We look over a lot of things they do. We say, I'm going to give them one more try. I'm going to give them one more shot. But yet, family is held to a different standard. And you got to ask yourself, why is that? We must do better. This last one was a little different for me. He said, or he or she, I don't want to misquote the person, but they said that family is no longer important. Well, truth be told, if you can say that family is no longer important, then there really isn't anything that I can say to you. I can't make you want something that you don't want. I'm giving my thoughts and my opinions on what we need, but by no means am I trying to change your mind. And especially with a statement like that, you're not really hearing anything that I have to say. And that's fine because I'm glad because you're here to listen. Maybe that wasn't the episode for you. Maybe the ones before it was, and that's how we got here. Or maybe you're looking forward to this one. So, without further ado, let's get back to the reason why we're here this week topic of called family legacy. I'm not going to drag this episode out trying to, for 30 and 45 minutes, hoping that somebody gets a point in minute 36 or minute 42. I'm going to give it to you the meat and potatoes. Sometimes it's going to be short, sometimes it's going to be long, but I'm going to give it to you as I see it and as I know it. Okay. Family legacy. We already know what family means, but do we know what legacy means? And yes, I looked it up, okay? According to Webster, legacy is something that is left behind, okay? By now, you should all know that I'm a firm believer in structure, discipline, outside the box thinking, okay? This particular podcast that I'm doing is tracking on a certain path. I want to make sure, we get down to the nitty gritty of it and, we look at it. I started with childhood, right? And then we went to, excuse me, with the people that are in our lives. Then we went to securing our future. But at the top of that mountain is family. And what our families, um, when we leave this earth, when we leave this place that we call the planet Earth and we go to our demise, right? Um, when you leave this earth, you're not alone. You're not, you're taking something with you. You're taking your spirit. You're taking a part of your family with you. Because when you die, a part of them dies as well because you've been alive in their lives for so long. So please don't get it confused that just because you're not here, no one else can appreciate you being gone. But when you leave this earth, I ask you this question. What will you leave behind for them? Okay. We spend our entire lives working hard, TikToking, Facebooking, Instagram, whatever this generation or whatever they did before, right? There was a lot of sweat that went into those moments, right? And I ask you this question. If you leave this earth today, if you have children, if you have parents that live with you, a mom or a dad or both, if you have nieces and nephews that you take care of, right? What are you leaving behind for them? Who's going to bury you? Okay. Who's going to pay your rent, your car note, feed your kids? Who's going to make sure your parents or whomever you take care of get to those appointments, right? Who's going to do that for you? You should see by now where this is going, right? I'm leading somewhere because the legacy that you can leave behind is something that costs us a few dollars a month. It's called life insurance. Okay. If your extended family doesn't mean anything to you, right? We're talking about the people that you say that have no value to you. These are people that you have left in the dark and said they're no longer relevant to me, right? If you leave them, if your extended family doesn't have any value to you, right? Then who or how do you expect someone to take care of your kids, your family members, or whoever it is when you leave here? Because you say you love your kids. You say you're doing things for them, but except you don't leave them anything behind except for trauma, except for memories. But the sad part about this equation is that when you're gone, right? Normally the only person that can take care of your kids is the people who don't have time for children, who don't have time for older family members, right? Or better yet, the family member who cannot take care of your children. These people are already struggling to live their everyday lives. They didn't ask you for anything. They didn't require anything from you. They just live their lives, but they have such a big heart that now that your children, your family, your parents, or whoever need them, they step up to the plate. The crazy part about this is the people who huff and puff and moan about not having insurance or not having the money to pay for insurance are two people that are very disturbing to me. One is the parent who is the primary income in the family. And when you go, your children, your wife, or your husband lives are completely upside down. Not only are they mourning your death, mentally they can't focus on anything else. And now guess what? The rent is due, the car note is due, you took care of all the bills. They have nothing. The second one is the single parent. Yes, it is a struggle. But if you have car insurance, you can also afford life insurance. Even if you don't get life insurance, okay, let's back up a step. Even if you don't get life insurance, why not have burial insurance? Why? Because when I was a kid, when you used to, so when somebody passed away, if they didn't have something, the family had to cook plates and have cookouts and um, car washes and all this just to bury you. They got your face on a T-shirt. Now we're doing GoFundMe accounts. You get what I'm saying? But why should they have to do that? Because you didn't want to pay 10, 12, 15, $18 a month for some burial insurance. Most of the time, your job offers you insurance for 10,000. You said that ain't enough, but guess what? It might barely get you in a box, but at least your family ain't got to go through that. They can go through the grieving process. But today we're talking about that legacy. We're talking about life insurance. When I was a kid, there was this guy I used to walk through the neighborhood, the only white guy, right? In an all black neighborhood, the projects, right? Over in the PJs, Orange Grove, shout out to Mobile, right? Um, this guy used to come through. He had this little tweed little jacket on, this little powder blue white shirt, the ugly little tie, some little khaki pants, and some easy walker shoes that he used to have on. But this man was pretty much like the police. That was the insurance man. He used to come door to door, and you knew when he was coming because everybody sat up front and he talked about everything. If somebody didn't have insurance, he would set them up with a policy. But that man got cut a check every single month. He got paid before the rent got paid. The reason being is if you look at life today, your grandparents, your parents, or whomever, aunts and uncles, when one of them passed away, their family got better. Why do you think that is? Because of life insurance. No, it wasn't for 100,000, $200 million life policies. $50,000 changes your life when you don't have anything. That $50,000 allows your kids or your wife to go to grief counseling and learn what they need to survive without you because they never had to do it. Now they do. We are our children's caregivers until they are old enough to care for themselves, okay? When you don't have life insurance and the caregiver is gone, what is supposed to happen to them? The law requires you to have car insurance, and you have car insurance for years, and it never cashes in. But at some point, your life is going to end. And these same people that you don't care about, you want them to just, because they're family, they're supposed to do it. Nobody has to do anything. People make choices. They can choose to do those things. I say all this to say this, right? What is a legacy? What type of legacy are you going to put together for your kids before their lives are upside down? They're living in a new home, okay? They're having to wear hand-me-down clothes. They're having to bunk in beds with other kids that they don't know. The family member who got the one bedroom or the two bedroom, their kid got one room. Now they got to take on not one, not two, not three, but four other kids. Who's going to get your parents to their doctor's appointment? Who's going to deal with that person with Alzheimer's in your family? You have the ability to do something today. Stop making excuses and do something to give your children a chance to mourn your death. Give their caregivers a chance to take time off from work to look after your kids' mental. Everybody talks a good game about I take care of me and mines and I do whatever I do until the day I die. Then all of a sudden you're gone. Your family legacy depends on you changing your ways. We leave and how we leave our children after we're gone for a few bucks a month, right? I'm not out here trying to funnel you towards a certain type of insurance company. They don't sponsor my episodes. I'm talking about something that we all need. Doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your culture, doesn't matter where you're from. We have to do better. You know what I'm saying? We got to get things together, right? Give your kids a head start on a better future. As we stated earlier, okay? Legacy is something that is left behind. What are you going to do? What are you going to leave your kids behind? You also have to understand that your kids are going to be going through a traumatic experience. Your parents may or may not understand what's going on, but everybody's going to wonder where you are and what to do next. Okay? There are several different insurance policies out there that are affordable to everyone. And I'm not telling you what's affordable to you, what's not affordable to you, right? I'm just trying to give you guys some insight on doing something different. This isn't going to be no heavy topic. I'm not finna drag this on. I really wanted to just put this out there because I've been on both sides of that fence where someone passed away And I didn't have insurance. And one time I did have insurance. When my wife passed away a few years ago, I still had a daughter that was 17 that had to get across that finish line to graduate um, high school. Her mom passed away the same day she got an acceptance letter for college. I had an 8-year old son at the time and no life insurance on her. The life that I live, running the streets, driving trucks, riding motorcycles, right? All of those things put me in a higher risk of being gone long before her, a genuinely a good person. She passed away. And not to get into anything sob story or anything like that, the day after her funeral, I had to go back to work. I still to this day don't know what more I could have done for my daughter to make sure that she was able to grieve properly. My son was able to get counseling, my son was able to get help, but what about me? Because I had to go back because the show doesn't stop. The bills didn't stop coming. But I also understand that, like I said, I spoke about it earlier. I was a primary income in my family. And I did nothing because even if it had happened to me, there was nothing in place to make sure that they were taken care of. I have a policy now on myself. I have a policy on my son. I have my things in place where if something happens to me in these next 3 years before he turns 18, he doesn't have to worry about burying me. Whoever takes care of my son, I have that in place for them where they can properly grieve as well. I don't want it to be for financial gain. I want it to be because that's what they genuinely want to do. That's why nobody knows to this day what my wishes are. I'm telling you my story in each one of these episodes because I want you to understand the topics that I'm talking about. I lived them in my own entire life, in my life. So listen, take care of your family, take care of yourselves, put something in place where the people you say you love, the people you care about, you do everything you do for them. That can't stop the day you die. Okay? So as we bring this episode to a close, I want us to remember a few things, okay? Our lives don't end when we're gone. We leave children behind who look like us, who remind other family members, the ones who are also suffering that loss. They're reminding them of you every single day. So they're hurting. So why not leave them something so they can grieve properly? Be the reason there's a reason why other cultures, when their families pass away, their lives get better. Okay? Just something to think about. We're all in this together. And no, I don't live in your household. You don't live in mine. But I'm also sharing my story because this may not help you, but it may help someone else. It may help you later on, or it may be something that you've already learned. So don't be afraid to allow people into that space to know what's going on, but put something in place for your kids. Okay. And in closing, I want to say thank you to everybody again for all of the support on these heavy topics, and they're heavy, but I promise you, they're leading somewhere. This season is about family because that is something that is near and dear to me. And I promise you, okay, we're going to start getting into some fun topics. We're going to start doing some live interviews. We're going to start recording live. We're going to be on the YouTube channel. We got a lot of things on the fire right now. When I say we, I mean me and the people that are supporting me with what I do because I'm doing this and it takes a lot of work. But without the people behind me supporting me and doing the things that they do in the background, I can't put this content out there because I have a full-time job that I do. That's not your problem. I'm just letting you know that I'm in this world that you live in every single day and I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I'm out here grinding. Okay. I want you to know that we have a sponsor to the show, Calhoun R&R Transport. The reason why that's relevant to you and not only to me is because they're going to be doing a giveaway. It was supposed to be done starting on the 6th of this month, but we didn't get all the details worked out, so we're going to move it till next Monday. The giveaway is going to be for 3 lucky listeners. It's going to be for $250. Listen, $250 for doing a couple of simple things. The first thing you must do, okay? Listen up. The first thing you must do is go to the dblpodcast.wordpress.com. Subscribe to the page. That's the first thing you must do. You must subscribe to the page. Secondly, you need to pick one of the topics and leave a comment on it. When you leave a comment on it, I need you to either screenshot it and share it back to the website or send it to either TikTok at the DBL Podcast, send it to Instagram at the DBL Podcast. The best interaction is on the website. That website again is the DBL podcast dot wordpress.com. Three lucky listeners is going to win $250 for doing nothing but what you're already doing. This is our way of giving back to you and hoping that you continue to tune in to this podcast. Help us grow. Help me put in the work to show that other people can see what we have going on here already so that they can know where the message is coming from. These topics are out there and they stay out there. They may not benefit you, but they may benefit someone you know. We all know somebody going through childhood distraction. We all know somebody that's giving up that ultimate sacrifice. They're in abusive relationships or they're in a rundown job or they're in a bad home or whatever. They're making a sacrifice to get everything they want. We all know somebody that's doing that family connection. We all know somebody that needs to leave a family legacy behind. So don't keep it all to yourself. If you're getting something from this and you're supporting this podcast, why not allow someone else in where you get the information from? Because it may not benefit them now or it may not benefit you now, but it may benefit them later or someone in their lives, okay? There's a lot of things on the horizon starting tomorrow, okay? Tuesday, 3/7/23. I'm going to be doing some 5 to 10 minute podcasts called Shenanigans. Shenanigans are going to be either funny, they're going to be light, they're going to be heavy, they're going to be stupid. They may flat out even just make absolutely no sense. They're just random thoughts for me because I do a lot of ranting, and if you know me, you already know that. But there is some content behind what I'm saying. But I'm putting it out there because I want one of those topics to relate to you, and you can share with your friends, share with your family. We want to draw as many people to the website to the podcast as possible. Everything that we do on TikTok, everything that we do on Instagram is on the website. It all starts with the website and funnels its way to those other media outlets. So tune in, like, share with other people. Okay? Like, subscribe to the podcast website, the DBL podcast.wordpress.com. Take this $250. Ain't nobody rich, so come on, get it. Somebody wants to give it to me, I'm gonna give it to you because you guys are supporting me, okay? We have some new topics that are coming up, some of the things that are on the horizon. Like I said, we're going to be doing the shenanigans. That's going to be every day. It's just something crazy, just throwing something out there. We're going to be doing YouTube soon. Okay, we're going to go live. We're going to be doing interviews. I'm going to be talking to some young ladies that are young business owners, and we're going to be doing some interviews with them, asking them questions and find out what it is they got, how did they get there, where are they trying to go with it. I'm going to be doing an episode on single fathers because when my wife passed away, that put me in that category of a single father. I had to regroup and redo my life. Like I said, luckily, my family structure gave me what I needed to be able to survive during those difficult times. Okay, but there are other people out there that are single fathers that, for whatever reason, that's where their life came to. Okay, so we're gonna do an episode on single father. I'm gonna be doing an episode on women in trucking. That is my profession. I've trained a lot of women. You know, the women in my lives, they drive trucks. So therefore, I'm going to do an episode on them because we want to get their input and how this job, this male-dominated field, makes or breaks their lives. Okay, so we're going to be doing a lot of things in the upcoming, but the growth of the podcast really starts with you guys. I can put the content out, but if you don't believe in it, you're going to stop coming. So if you do your part, I'll continue to do my part. Until next week, I want to say I love you all. It's bike week. It's time to get on them scooters. It's time to get out there and ride. I love you all. So until next week, peace out, everybody.